Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the Monday, March 3rd, 2025 Kitty Hawk Town Council meeting to order. We're in the Kitty Hawk Town Hall Smith meeting room. Thank you all for being with us tonight, and for those of you who are watching at home. I don't know about you, not sure how to dress today. It was so warm yesterday and cold today, but we have nothing to do with that, obviously. Again, thank you all for being here. If you're able to stand, please rise and join us in a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, everybody. Council, I need a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
So
please.
moved.
Motion made by David, second.
Second.
Second by Dylan. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed. Thank you. We have a presentation, Dean Tim Sweeney and Dr. Jack Bagwell from College of the Albemarle. If you gentlemen would come up, please. They told me they promised they would limit it to 2-hour presentations, so I'm going to hold them to that.
Not a minute longer, I promise. I'm Jack Bagwell. Thank you for having us here tonight. I'm going to do things a little bit differently. I'm going to turn it over to Tim and let him show you a couple of videos and talk for a few minutes. But I want you during that time to think about what you want to know from me. Instead of doing a PowerPoint and offering death by PowerPoint tonight, I want to focus on what you want to talk about. I have a couple of talking points, and certainly I could fill the 2 hours, but I will attempt not to do that. So just think about what you'd like for me to talk about, and we'll do it. But I'm going to turn it over to where to go. Tim Sweeney here.
Thank you, Dr. Bagwell.
Thanks,
Mayor
sir.
Garris, Councilman, Melanie, thank you for having us tonight. I'm really excited about these 2 videos, and that's why I don't have to talk too long. But I just want to tell you a little bit about the DARE campus. I'm sure Dr. Bagwell will talk to you about our other campuses. Our campus had a 25% increase in enrollment in 1 year, and that's something that's unheard of. And a lot has to do with the new campus programs, but also has a lot to do with the DARE Guarantee. Well, you're all aware of the DARE Guarantee, where we provide our citizens and our high school students a free education if they live here in Ware County. So that's made a tremendous difference as far as having the availability of workforce development and curriculum. The 2 videos, one is the curriculum side of the house, where you're going for an associate's degree. Most of our students at this campus, it used to be 80%, but now it's probably around 60% college transfer. They're looking to get their associate's degree and go to a 4-year university. The number in workforce development is rising year after year after year. Workforce development, you're talking about the skills that we need for our various businesses throughout this county, but also our other campuses, which Dr. Bagwell will talk about. There's a misconception that the DARE Guarantee is only for the DARE campus. That's not true. That if a student in Dare County would like to take, let's say, manufacturing in the Currituck campus, it's paid for. If they want to go into the aviation program, it's paid for. Our nursing program will start here with their gen ed classes, but they have to go to the Elizabeth City campus to complete their 2nd year, and they have to do their clinicals throughout the region. That is paid for. So I want to make sure the public knows that the DARE Guarantee is for students and citizens that live here, but you can go to any program of our 4 campuses. And there's other programs too in the other campuses that if you have questions, Dr. Bagwell will answer that. The videos tell our story. I think the first one would say curriculum, and the curriculum is the college transfer that we were talking about. Workforce development, you can take those classes and take associate's degree. What we try to tell our students is to do both. Get a certification, but also get that degree, an associate's degree, whether it's in financing or accounting, whatever, and you can own your own business here in Dare County. So that's our whole push right now, is to really be an all-around student, have both the curriculum side and the workforce development side. Thank you.
Welcome to College of the Albemarle DARE,
where your future begins. Explore a world of opportunities with our comprehensive curriculum programs designed to propel you into your chosen career. From the arts to the sciences, healthcare to information technology, your journey to success starts here.
Here at COA, we meet the student where they're at. We offer online classes, in-person classes, and hybrid classes. The accelerated program for business at COA can be started in the fall or the summer and completed in 15 months. We have articulation agreements with Mid-Atlantic Christian University and Elizabeth City State University that accepts our business classes in their business program. We offer a variety of Con Ed classes at DARE. Part of Con Ed are our business classes in computer science and getting certification in QuickBooks, dealing with the hospitality industry, leadership. We go out in the community and we try to identify what the community needs in their businesses, and we try to offer classes that will meet those needs.
Right now I have business classes like specific to my major, and it's something like business law, international trade, business management, principle of management, introduction to business. So all of these courses will help me in the future to move on and transfer. After I take my associate degree, I move on and transfer to university.
Another great avenue here at the College of the Albemarle is our Associate in Arts program. It is an excellent opportunity for students who are transferring on to a four-year university or for those who are going right into the workforce. It offers a myriad of opportunities for students to transfer into virtually any program at a four-year school. They are prepared with critical thinking, they are prepared with the skills in math, the science, foreign language, and of course English and communication, which is my area.
We have the program fully running here on the DARE campus as well as in Elizabeth City. We're an associate degree program, about 2 years, 4 semesters, or we have a part-time 2-semester certificate. So it just depends what their goal is. Health and fitness is a very broad profession. There are a lot of pathways.
They start with Nurse Aid 1, which we also offer here in this lab. And on this campus, it is an introduction to healthcare. And we are real proud to be able to offer that training right here in Mania. Students that come into Nurse Aid 1 really learn the skills of how to take care of residents, how to safely help them. Nurse Aid 2 steps that up another notch, just really opens up the resume for them, really gives them more opportunities for employment, and can just really be an asset to the healthcare team.
We see this in students all the time. They get to the end of their degree and they can't believe the doors that are opening for them and the opportunities they have. It's a whole new world when they walk out that door with that diploma, and we're so proud of them.
Dare County residents, be sure to ask about the Dare Guarantee Scholarship.
One of the things that I try to do, we have what I call Dolphin for a Day. And we've probably had over 200 to 300 middle and high school students to come through. They see these videos, but they become a college student for the morning. And it's pretty impactful as far as when they see EMT, they see Weldon, they see these other things you're going to see here with the workforce development. And what we try to do, again, is to get our students to think out of the box. And these videos here start them thinking early on, you know, I can do both. So we can show the workforce development.
Transform your career with our workforce development and continuing education programs at COA Dare. From automotive service technician to electrician and the upcoming culinary arts opportunity, get the training you need to succeed in today's competitive job market.
So here at the College of the Albemarle's DARE campus, we offer a variety of workforce development classes as well as a variety of personal enrichment courses. The workforce development classes are designed to get you hands-on training to get you immediately into the workforce and get a good paying job. We can offer classes in HVAC, plumbing, welding. We have auto tech. We also have a couple of new programs that are starting in culinary skills as well as hospitality management.
One new program offered through COA is a level 1 technician training program. Students who take the classes with us earn a level 1 certification, which basically makes them hireable by any dealership.
Here at the College of the Albemarle, we have an EMT course, which is our entry-level course into emergency medicine. We have our advanced EMT course, which steps you up into the next levels of patient care, and then we have a paramedic course, which is the top-level EMS provider.
After 16 weeks of taking this course, you'll get a certification saying that you completed the 96 hours of the course. The course will take you through the rough end of electrical work. It'll also take you through the trim out. It'll give you the basic understanding to be able to go into a house and to be able to start off a career in electrical business.
Our course is going to offer an introductory and deep dive into the plumbing industry. We'll start very basic with tools and rules, and then we'll wind up going through how to put plumbing in a new construction residential home, and then finally finish off with service work, so you know how to repair the items you're installing.
The field is wide open. You've got air conditioning, you've got refrigeration, automobile air conditioning. You know, once you get started and you decide what part of the trade you want to focus on, this course will help you succeed in that endeavor.
They start with Nurse Aid 1, which we also offer here in this lab and on this campus. It is an introduction to healthcare, and we are real proud to be able to offer that training right here in Manio. Students that come into Nurse Aid 1 really learn the skills of how to take care of residents, how to safely help them. Nurse Aid 2 steps that up another notch, just really opens up the resume for them, really gives them more opportunities for employment, and can just really be an asset to the healthcare team.
If you're interested in any of these training opportunities, give us a call here at the COA Dare campus. This is a campus where hands-on training meets career opportunities.
Dare County residents, be sure to ask about the Dare Guarantee Scholarship.
So great overview of some of our programming down here at COA Dare. And I want to talk a little bit about enrollment, but before I do, I want to follow up on what I asked you to be thinking about. What questions do you have of me? What would you like for me to touch on, if anything, before I share some numbers with you and some ideas? Any questions or things you want me to focus on?
Well, I've been asked, are there any plans in the future for dorm rooms for those who are not driving distance, maybe want to stay there?
We do not have any current plans. One of the things that really is a challenge for community colleges in North Carolina is operating dorms. It would require a whole nother set of stipulations. One of the things that we have done is talk to the Coastal Studies Institute. They're looking for dorm space. They're trying to figure out how to build some things. So we've sat down with them. We could utilize some space, but we're not in the we don't have the ability to operate dorms. If ECU would build dorms down here for the Coastal Studies, I think we could help populate that and get them more bang for the buck. And I've talked to Dr. Corbett about that a number of times. I serve on that Coastal Studies board, so I've heard that housing need many, many times. But it would be a nice to do for us. It would be great to be able to recruit folks here to go to school. But it's a dire need for the Coastal Studies Institute. Yeah. So be a nice to do, but not on the current plans.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Sure.
Is there an age limit or to the DARE guarantee? Or what requirements are?
So the DARE guarantee was originally, we've modified it several times with Dare County. Originally it was for recent graduates, in the first couple of years. Then we extended that. And now we have money for adults who are in workforce programming. So that's based on available dollars left that are not used. Although I'll tell you, we're getting closer and closer to that being a challenge and having to go back to Dare County and say we're spending every dime on the graduates, the recent graduates. So it is an opportunity for anybody to take advantage of as money is available. And we have other workforce scholarships too. So Dare Guarantee is fantastic, but we have foundation scholarships. We award close to $400,000 a year from our foundation. And then we have state scholarships that we have access to. So there is an opportunity for folks, even if Dare Guarantee were not the opportunity.
I was sure that might have evolved into a little more.
It is a continual evolution process, as you can imagine. Yes, ma'am. Anything else?
I was wondering, now it seems like boat building's become a really big industry here on the Outer Banks, and I was wondering, do you have any programs for that?
We've done some specialized training programs recently. We used to have that program, but we work with some folks over in Chowan County. You know, it's not just Dare County. We have a number of boat builders that we work with, but mostly it's in specialized training. And the reality is, not every boat's built the same. So one technique at one boat builder is different from another technique at another boat builder. So it's very difficult to get some training that works for everybody, although we have worked with them on specialized training projects, which allows them to get the training they need.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Okay, so let me talk just in generalities here for a few minutes. You heard two program videos. One was curriculum and those curricular programs. One was workforce education. A third part of what we do is basic skills. And those are the three parts of what we do for enrollment. I'm going to give you some numbers. Last year, and this is largely thanks to the Dare Guarantee here, you heard those incredible numbers from Dean Sweeney, but across the institution, last year we were the third fastest growing in percentage-wise, third fastest growing community college of the 58 in the North Carolina Community College system. So this year, we didn't know where we stood until about a week and a half ago because we don't have a dashboard that's populated immediately. We have to wait on that data to come together from all other 57 institutions. So fall to fall, though, I want to walk you through that and talk just a minute about the importance of Dare Guarantee and this Dare campus to the overall numbers that I'm about to present. So from last fall to this past fall, so fall of 23 to fall of 24 is the measurement that we're talking about here. So total instructional percentage increase. The state average across 58 colleges was a 6% growth, which is really good nationally. That's a very good number nationally. COA was 14% growth year over year. And that was about sixth, tied for sixth in the state. So top 10% of the 58 colleges. That's on top of being number 3 last year. Curriculum, with that video that we heard with the curricular program, state average growth was 7%, COA is 13%. Again, tied for sixth. Workforce, state average was 1% growth across 58 colleges. We grew at 10%. So 10 times the state average in workforce, and we see a lot of programming attention being paid on that on the Dare campus, but also our other campuses as well. Now let me caveat that one a little bit just to say, take that one with a grain of salt because that was the most impactful piece of Helene coming through the western part of the state. So you maybe see more impact there for that type of programming outcome than you would have the curriculum outcome. Basic skills, state average was 12%, COA 39% year over year increase. So the Dare Guarantee is part of that here, certainly in Dare County. We've seen an incredible growth. Really double the institutional growth. The institutional growth has been strong across the 7 counties and the 4 campuses that we operate. One of the things I wanted to leave you with as we think about this and the importance of Dare Guarantee, and I'd like to come back and share these numbers and the opportunity with the counties and the cities, is with the Dare Guarantee in the last few years, Dare County, despite the distance from the main campus, Dare County is now our #1 sending county. In other words, we get more students from Dare County than we do Pasquotank County, and that's where the main campus is. So that's an incredible opportunity, and I think it is not 100% tied to Dare Guarantee, but I think it is the proactive nature of Dare County, the folks down here looking for programming, the partnerships that we have with the community and the Builders Association, etc., that allows us to grow that in Dare County. I will tell you that other counties in our 7-county service area are paying attention and starting to talk about their own promise and guarantee programs, which is fantastic because we have an opportunity to bring additional training across the 7 counties. So with that, I'm going to stop. I know I had 2 hours, but I figured you'd be okay with a little extra time back. Any more questions for me, Mr. Mayor? Anything you want me to touch on that I didn't touch on already?
No, I think you folks know when I feel about COA. I've been working there and employed there for a long time at the Currituck campus. Dare County, Currituck, all of the 7 counties are so fortunate to have you here. And I think we all realize that. And I just want to thank you for what y'all do. I see a lot that people don't see. You're just great, and you do it in a professional manner, and I want to thank both of you very much and all of your staff.
Well, thank you. We appreciate the opportunity to be here, and please come see us. How many of you, have you all been on the campus down in Mania? Mm-hmm. Come see us anytime. We'll welcome you, glad to have you, and if we can provide tours for you folks, anybody who wants to see it, we'll be glad to do that. And with that, I'm going to get out of your way. Thank you, and y'all have a great evening.
Thanks, Dr.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean Sweeney.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. Thank you.
Please tell Jamie Tim said hi.
Who's Jamie? I'm just playing.
That was good.
For the record.
Yeah. For those of you watching at home, I've been notified that we may have some audio and video issues. Lauren, are we working on that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Thank you. We're working on it as hard as we can. Hope we can get it straightened out. Public comment. Lauren, has anyone signed up for public comment?
Yes, sir. We have Jan Galt.
Come on up, ma'am. 3 minutes, and we ask you to speak directly into the microphone so everyone can hear you.
So let me tell you a little bit about history. My husband and I have been coming to the Outer Banks for about 40 years, in which case we were fortunate enough 9 years ago to buy a place on Ascension Drive. In dealing with neighbors, they told us to, most of the time they'll go to White Street in order to have access to the ocean. And so we've used that now for 9 years. During the time, it's kind of gotten a little bit used for the wear, wear for the use, as far as needs a little bit of repair. And looking at all of the other accesses, called to find out why ours hadn't been done, and found out that basically it was not owned by the city of Kitty Hawk.
Correct. That's correct.
In which case, what do? How do we do it? Do we get a group of people and go down and work it ourselves? But then we have the issue of liability and different things of that nature. So I'm just coming forth and wanting to find out a little bit more information on what can be done to improve that, whether it's from our issue, from your issue, and how we can go forth with this.
Thank you. This is public comment, but I promise you at the end of this meeting, we will address that.
Right.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Thank you for coming forward.
Sure, thank you.
Remind me, Jeff.
I will.
All right. Anyone else signed up to speak at public comment?
Yes, sir. We have Duke Garrity.
Come on, Mr. Garrity. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, thank you. Good evening. I'll take a couple of my 3 minutes to talk about COA, but that's like the crown jewel of Dare County. I mean, the property, the building, the courses, the way they pay the tuition. The Outer Banks Home Builders Association, they're our partners. We try and work with them whenever we can, and what a job they do. Anyway, I'm Duke Garrity, Outer Banks Home Builders Association. I'm here to speak tonight, since you're not going to have a regular public hearing on a tree ordinance for to name the live oak the town tree. I was particularly concerned if there's one town in Dare County that doesn't need any more tree cover, it's Kitty Hawk. We've got people paying $150,000, $200,000 for a piece of property. Now, what's proposed is somebody could tell them that they have to leave those trees. They're not going to have the right to use their property as they like it. Everybody likes a live oak tree, especially if it's the neighbors, and they're going to keep it there too. So I'm asking you tonight that this is an ordinance that's not needed. It's a taking away of property rights, which we firm believers in the property rights. And also there is an ordinance, there's a state statute, which very few people follow anymore, The state statute says if you want to install a tree ordinance, you have to get permission from the General Assembly. Now, we had a legal opinion done on that with the town of Duck, and the town attorney at that time told us, if you don't like it, I don't read it like you, sue us. So maybe Mr. Varnell could check on it, but there is a state statute against tree ordinances without permission of the General Assembly. So I'm going to ask you, please don't do it. Please don't take away the property rights. We don't need any more rules. It's getting harder and harder, and the codes and the zoning ordinances are getting harder and harder to build a house. Everybody knows about the problem we're having with affordable housing. We need to simplify things instead of making them harder. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else who would like to speak tonight at public comment about any subject? Anybody? You look like you want to speak, ma'am? Or-
Well, I was here to listen to the...
Okay, if you want to speak, you need to come up to the, yeah. Just state your name and address, please.
Mary Jo Bush, I'm a resident of Kitty Hawk.
Yes, ma'am.
And I understand this gentleman's concerns, but I also been here 10 years and I vacationed here since 1959. And lots of changes, and I've said in these meetings and listened to residents and the staff here, Kitty Hawk, we wanted to maintain Kitty Hawk. We want it to be part of the old community, but yet we want to grow. The trees have a purpose. They help with wind control, depending, I live on the sound. And I've had 2 of my neighbors cut down 100-year-old trees, and now it's like a wind tunnel. So I agree that if it's within your building, but not flatten the lot. I mean, that's my opinion on the live oaks, that I think Nags Head passed it as their town tree. And I know my HOA, though we don't seem to adhere to it, you can't cut anything down if it's larger than 3 feet diameter. So, I mean, there should be some guidelines on it, but I don't think we should just rate those and plunder land.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Anyone else like to speak at public comment? Okay, Lauren, let the record show no one else chose to speak. Thank you. Consent agenda. Council, I need a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda, please.
So moved.
Motion made by David. Second.
Second.
Second by Charlotte. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Thank you. We had no items removed from the consent agenda. Public hearing on our Campbell land use plan. Come on up, Rob. Council, I need a motion to go into public hearing, please.
So moved.
Motion made by David. Second.
Second.
Second by Jeff. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are in public hearing.
All right, so if you will remember back in September of '23, Town Council adopted the land use plan that we had been working on from, I think, December of '22 up until that September '23 meeting. We adopted it to serve as our comprehensive plan. In these coastal communities, the land use plan serves as 2 functions. For us, for the town level, it serves as the comprehensive plan, guiding development decisions, legislative decisions. The other side of that is the Coastal Resource Commission uses the plan, once they've certified it, to make their CAMA decisions that come to them, like CAMA major permits and all. In the time since we adopted it as our comprehensive plan, the state has reviewed it and they sent some comments back to Stewart Incorporated, the consultant that we've been using. They have incorporated those changes and attached to the staff report. I provided a list with those changes that the state sent back and the specific changes on those pages. That's really all the purpose here is tonight, is we have to re-adopt it now that the state has made their comments and the consultant has revised it to match the state comments to get their certification on it. And once approved, it'll get back to the state for their certification, and then we'll be set for a while on our land use plan.
Thank you, Rob. Council, any questions for Rob during public hearing? Is anyone here tonight would like to speak during this public hearing about the Campbell land use plan? Okay, any further discussion, Council? If not, I'll entertain a motion to go back into regular session.
So moved.
Motion made by David. Second.
Second.
Second by Dillon. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? All right, council, we are back in regular session. What would you like to do about this Campbell Land Use Plan update?
Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt the revised Kitty Hawk Campbell Land Use Plan.
Thank you, Jeff. Second?
Second.
Second by Charlotte. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you, council. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Rob.
Okay, Rob, text amendment chapter 12, just stay right there.
Right, anybody move.
Don't leave. About the live oak tree and the environment. Go ahead.
And I'll just note, as this being in chapter 12, outside of the zoning ordinance and subdivision ordinance, it didn't require a public hearing, as Mr. Garrity had mentioned during his public comment. And also, if you'll remember, some months back, this was originally brought to council by Mr. Tumalo. Council asked that it go to the planning board for their consideration. This also, since it's not part of the zoning ordinance or subdivision ordinance, it wasn't required to have planning board review, but at council's request, it went there first. You can see the proposed regulations in the staff report that Mr. Tumalo put together. It did go to the planning board initially at their September 9th, 2024 meeting. The board voiced a few concerns about some of the regulations that were included in there, mainly the original diameter of the trunk to be protected had been listed at 2 inches. They felt that was too narrow, too small. And some of the areas that were listed for exemption for being able to clear the trees for building, they felt was a little too restrictive on property rights. After that meeting, Mr. Tumalo went back and kind of revised his proposal to address some of the comments and concerns they had. This went back to the planning board recently. I believe it was January, February meeting. And again, through the discussions, they still felt it was infringing too much on property rights. They ultimately recommended denial. They had tossed around a few suggestions, incentivizing keeping trees instead of prohibiting, but there was nothing fleshed out, no specific recommendations to that regard. In the report put together for you all tonight, you can see I've included some regulations that the other towns on the beach have with regards to tree protection, as well as an ordinance, or an article from the North Carolina State Extension. Let's see, it's Protecting and Retaining Trees, a guide for municipalities and counties in North Carolina. And I believe Mr. Tumalo may have referred to that during the development of his ordinance. And I'll turn it over to Mr. Tumalo for anything else to add.
Okay. Any questions for Rob before I ask the applicant to come up, please? Okay, come on up, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Members of council, well, thank you for your help, town manager. As was mentioned, I've been back to the planning board to present this twice. They're a tough crowd, but I respect their decision. I looked over the decision that they made, and primarily it was they felt that this did infringe on property rights. Anywhere else in the United States, I would say yes. I was trying to have this discussion with Mr. Garrity. I would say, yeah, you can't tell me I can't cut down my maple or whatever tree in my front yard. But I can't think of very other places in the United States where we rely on our natural resources to keep this strip of sand together. So I don't think that impacts or infringes on property rights. As a matter of fact, if you look at all those regulations in all the other jurisdictions, they're pretty aggressive. Town of Duck, as was mentioned, Nag's Head, Killable Hills, they don't want you touching any tree 2 feet diameter. That might be infringing on property rights. Here I see this ordinance is really pro-building, pro-property rights. If you look at that regulation, it essentially says, we don't want you clear cutting our live oaks. I seem to recall having a discussion about clear cutting with one of the members of the council some time back, and how that had once occurred in Kitty Hawk. I don't want to see it happen again, because I love this town as much as you all do. Secondly, in addition to the property rights piece, Protecting our natural resources and our infrastructure, it is called out in the Cameron Land Use Plan in multiple places, and it's also called out in the 2024 Resiliency Plan for Kitty Hawk. And I may quote briefly, in contrast, Kitty Hawk Village is a low-lying area consisting of dunes, ridges, large live oak trees, wetlands, and small village area with some residential neighborhoods along some high ridges. Additionally, in the resiliency plan, it is also part of the one of the project goals, safeguarding the town's natural resources, including existing tree canopy, wetlands, beaches, dunes, and shorelines. Encourage green stormwater infrastructure and low-impact development techniques in new development. This does not infringe on property rights. I can understand this pushback from the Outer Banks Home Builders Association, and I respect that. If that's the decision, and if that's the personal beliefs and values of this town council, I'm good with it. But given the planning board, from my optic, given the publicly available information, our planning board is heavily weighted towards the building and construction industry. And again, you selected those members, and if that's what you want, I can live with that. But I don't believe this is a property rights issue. Anywhere else, I would say, yeah, you know what, we shouldn't be doing this. But here we need those live oaks. One comment that kind of sticks in my mind that was brought up by one of the planning board members when they reviewed and made the recommendation, they felt that this ordinance was not in balance. The words they used was not in balance with the current land use plan. They're right, it's not in balance because we've done nothing as a community to protect our trees. This ordinance is looking to preserve one species of tree, the live oak. So, the old saying, the buck stops here, this is where it stops. I will ask you to please consider passing this ordinance and giving us an opportunity to really kind of set the example. You're right, Kitty Hawk does have a lot of trees, and I want to keep it that way. A lot of people commented that, you know what, people move here, they buy a plot of land that's full of live oaks, they want to chop down the trees and build a house, let them. Ordinance allows it. I'm sure you've all read it. It allows you to tear down a live oak to build a swimming pool, which is one of the numerous issues. One of the other gentlemen said, I don't want to plant a live oak because when I go out there to plant my garden, I don't want it shaking my tomato plants. Well, here's a pro tip. Don't plant tomatoes under a live oak tree. It just didn't make sense to me. And I really thought, if given the opportunity one more time to speak to this, whatever your decision tonight, I want you to know that I did my due diligence to follow through this and try to make something good happen on this. A lot of people had commented this had come up to an issue before. Nobody knew what happened to it. Well, we went through the process. Now it's come back here to town council. So I'm hopeful that you'll make the decision in the best interest of our town. That's all I have. If you have any questions for me.
Thank you, Ron. Council, any questions for Mr. Tumala?
I have general comments, but...
Okay, all right. No questions? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you all very much
all right,
for your time.
Thank you. I will say, Casey, I'm going to put you on the spot here in just a couple of minutes. I will say this has been talked about. We've heard it before, Jeff, about designating the live oak as the Kitty Hawk, official Kitty Hawk tree. I am all for that, have been all for that. But we get talking about infringing on rights. Casey, can you talk about that? And are we, aren't we, or what?
It's a good question. Obviously, I've not, as you said, you put me on the spot, so I've not done a thorough, if you will, search into this. I did look at KDH's ordinance, because of course I represent KDH too, so in my mind I was drawn to, did I miss something? Because I didn't recall a tree ordinance being passed since I've been town attorney, and it appears to be something that's been there for quite a while. Another reason why I wouldn't have had to have, really done any research. I do recall INDUC representing a homeowner, and it was the first time I realized that municipalities around here actually regulate trees and what could be cut down, and that was several years ago. I don't even remember if it resulted in a suit. I just remember there was a big dispute by a homeowner that I represented that didn't agree with the Town of Ducks tree ordinance. My position on it at the time, without, again, really deep diving into this thing, was when you get into the aesthetics of someone's lot, you're, as a general rule, extending past zoning. I mean, you're taking a deep dive into the world. I think Ms. Bush mentioned the fact that her HOA regulates the cutting of trees. Well, an HOA can also regulate the design of a house, the paint color of a house, what types of materials are used on a house. There's a lot of things that that private sector, if you will, can do that governments generally can't. And I see this call it covenants all the time in the HOA world. So if you wanted my knee jerk tonight, yeah, I mean, I would say regulating what someone can and cannot remove as far as what Mother Nature put there from their lot it's attackable, certainly. Now, what I'm more interested in than anything, perhaps, is just looking at the ordinance that Mr. Garrity mentioned. I've not reviewed that, but if there is something out there that says we're not even supposed to be doing this until such time as, you know, we go through proper steps with the state, then obviously that's a no-brainer. I mean, then we can't. We certainly need to look into that. But yeah, I mean, you know, a monkey can sue a giraffe, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, you know, adopting it, we're immune from a lawsuit. We're not. Anybody can get upset over anything and file a suit. The question becomes, are we in a defensible position if we do that? And here, again, I just, for me, it resonates with infringing upon property rights. But now, having said that, that's without doing a ton of research on that. And I certainly want to look at Mr. Garrity's, the statute he referenced, just again to make sure we're not running afoul of any state law. But moreover, I would appreciate it, unless you guys obviously are, without my opinion, let's say it that way, set on what you're going to do. It's certainly, before I issue something formal, I'd like to look into it a little more. But I do think this is a situation that merits it, because from the outside looking in, sure, I could see a client walking into my office tomorrow complaining about a tree ordinance, because I've had it happen before in Duck. So,
thank you, Casey, very much. Council?
All right, I got some comments. So I appreciate the work that you have put into working hard on this tree ordinance. You know, I've got a site plan being dropped off in my truck tonight. It's the 12th plan being drawn for a lot in Kitty Hawk to save trees. I'm all about saving trees. I'm not about infringing upon people's property rights. So if we vote on this tonight, I am not in favor of the ordinance. But I want you to know that I don't agree with clear cutting. I don't think it's right. I have moved houses before they've been built to save trees. I do everything I can to save a tree, but to tell somebody what they can and cannot do to their property, I will never participate in when it comes to that. I would hope people would use common sense. Why, if you want to clear cut a lot, move to a cornfield. I don't agree with it, but I'm not in favor of telling someone what they can and cannot do. That's it for me.
Thank you, Dave. Dillon?
Casey, where would this fall in the state's recent bill regarding downzoning?
From a downzoning perspective, I don't think, honestly, because of the way this is written, such that within the footprint, and I read through where it even included accessory structures, swimming pools, things of that nature, I don't see how this could make it less dense. Rob, you may have a difference of opinion there, but I don't think that this would run afoul of any downzoning issues. But again, Rob, have you put any thought into that?
A little. It occurred to me as we were putting these together, but thinking about it, I mean, you're still bound by lot coverage and setbacks, which is ultimately going to determine how dense your lot is developed. So I think if there was a restriction on being able to cut live oaks, you're still able to build out 30% lot coverage. You're still got your 25 and 10-foot setbacks. So that's the more I think about it, I don't really think it's limiting the intensity or the density of how you're able to develop your lot.
And that was kind of we said it two different ways, but it marinates perfectly. When I'm referencing the fact that the building footprint, things of that nature are accepted, you're only going to be able to build on that footprint if it meets the remainder of our ordinance. And if it meets the remainder of our ordinance, then those particular trees could be cut. So that's the only reason I don't see it playing into the new bill. So, which hopefully is a bill we won't have to worry about much longer. But anyway.
But see, then you start getting into cutting trees. I got limbs touching my house right now. Am I not allowed to cut that because there's a tree ordinance?
Well,
so you see how far this can go?
Well, I think regulation.
I understand, but there's a diameter. It's being set at a certain width. Okay, so we can go down that hole of that width growing, and can I protect my house? Can I not protect my house? But can and cannot do?
Well, now you're into the regulation portion, which I didn't even touch on.
Right.
I mean, yes, I could see there. It's a discretionary ordinance to a certain degree, and it's not black and white in my. It's not because of the draftsmanship. It's because trying to regulate something of this nature is hard.
His interpretation.
It's hard to make it black and white. So yes, David, I understand what you're saying as well, and I think that comes more to the enforcement side of it. Disagreements over interpretation of what should be, what can't be removed. So I agree that that's another pitfall.
Dylan, anything else?
I agree with recognizing the live oak. I really do. And Ron, I appreciate all your time in this. Absolutely. I can tell you've put a lot of effort into this. I think maybe creating a database of maybe some select old growths would be a great start. However, I feel that the one in front of us tonight is just a little too restrictive and generic to be enforcing in Kitty Hawk at this time.
Anything else?
That's all I have.
Jeff?
I'd also, Ron, you've done a great job. I personally, I hate seeing an oak tree go down. I have 3 on my property. I've often wondered if there a way I could register my trees so that if something was to happen to me in the future, that they would be preserved. I've heard that has been done on some property here in Kitty Hawk. I'm not sure if it was just hearsay or if it's fact, but I would like a database of recognizable trees that we should ask the property owners if they would be willing to put it in some kind of a trust that they cannot be chopped down. I know it's hard. Let's say 6 inches isn't very big, and it would cause a lot of problems on some lots here that have a whole lot of smaller diameter oaks. But I agree like Ron. The taking down of these 200 to 500-year-old oak trees to make a lot does seem against our land use plan. But this ordinance, I think, is just a little bit too restrictive. We need to find out some more information, I think, on this before we could vote. I think this is one that should be deferred until we have our legal counsel tell us if we're voting on something that we're even allowed to be voting on. I don't want to vote on something that we shouldn't even be voting on. So I hate to send Ron back. I don't want you to give up. That's my point. There's got to be a common line here that we can agree. But I think we should defer this, me personally, tonight, and until we find out more from counsel here, legal counsel, about what we're doing. But as Dylan said, I would like to see us definitely move forward on recognizing trees, seeing if we can get the people that have them to register them in some kind of a preservation, and I'd like to have our town tree. And then we can start working on the last little phase of size, and that seems to be a sticking point with us, so.
Well, the other thing too, Jeff, is, you know, you have a tree that's a 10-inch diameter today, right, and you can't touch it, and 25 years from now, somebody inherits the property that's purchased, and they want to pull in the ground. Now they can't put a pull in the ground?
What I'm saying is, if I would like to have it, so yeah, if something was to happen to me and it goes to my kids, but I've already put it in there, hey, I'm sorry, son.
The deed restriction is what you're requesting.
Sorry, son, I've already signed. I don't care if you want a pool or not. You're not getting it because I have already done this prior to me passing away, so that you or anybody else that buys that piece of property can take that.
So that's where I'm going with it. That would be a homeowner willing to put a deed restriction on their property pertaining to the live oak.
Yes.
Back to the private agreement, private
Instead of a
sector,
council
non-governmental regulation.
Instead of us putting a thing to it, that's an individual deed restriction that a homeowner puts on their property at their own will.
But I would like to see a research into this to recognize the trees that I think should be put in to this.
There's beautiful trees in Kitty Hawk on Twitty property.
Yeah, with the individual balm, and to use that for example, that's where I heard that the trees at the very end, some of those are 700 years old.
And that's a fact. That's a fact.
And I've heard that they have been put into a thing so that they cannot ever be torn down, no matter who buys the property. And that's the way I would like to see my trees. I have 3. I love my big oak tree more than my house. And so I get what you're saying, and I don't want you to give up. I know you seem to be happy with what we come up with, but we can keep working on this to save these oak trees.
I get that approach for 30 seconds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Approach?
Yes.
Come forward.
Just to clarify with Councilman Hines and Councilman Tillett, this regulation is live oak light. Not only does it specify that if you got a swimming pool, you can cut your live oak down. If you read that regulation, you buy a lot full of trees, you can cut every tree down there to build your house. ADUs, driveways, septic fields, cut your trees down. Just don't clear cut, don't clear everything out. I just had a live oak trimmed on my property about a month ago. It looks like somebody took a buzzsaw to the side of it. I had to because they were touching my house. This regulation doesn't even prevent topping, even though we know topping is done, but it's not a healthy option for a tree. So I disagree respectfully that it's too restrictive. I think it's pretty light in comparison to some of these other regulations that you got in your packet. But I'm happy to keep working on it.
Keep working.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ron. Anything else, Jeff?
No.
Charlotte?
Ron, you and I have talked about this several times in the past, and I am all for the live oak being the Kitty Hawk tree. And I question the 6-inch diameter, and I find it very hard to think that a swimming pool could make somebody cut down a 100-year-old oak tree. But I have an oak tree in my backyard that is the focal point of my whole backyard, and I love it, and I wouldn't have anybody harm it for anything. But I can't tell my neighbor what to do. I really have concerns about how we can adjust this ordinance that you have and make it work for everybody.
And I'm going to echo Councilman Walker's point. I mean, that's where I'm at is, you know, I don't want to see a tree cut down at all. I mean, I can drive you by every one of my jobs I've ever done, and I've saved every tree limb possible. So I don't want anybody to get the impression I'm against cutting down the trees, because I'm all for saving them. It's the most beautiful tree in the world when it's pruned and made to do what it needs to do. But it's not my place to tell a neighbor what they can and can't do with their property. And that's just where I'm at, no matter what we do moving forward.
Okay, so it sounds like we're pretty much all in line here. I think,
We need to work on it
I
some
think we
more.
all would like to see the live oak designated as the official Kitty Hawk tree. I'm all
Official tree.
for
I'm
that.
fine with that, but
What do you think about asking, just defer, like you said, and ask Casey to bring us back some more information next meeting? Can you do that?
I've got my notes. I can certainly do it.
All right, do we need a motion for that? Yeah.
No, you would just
Table it.
table for reconsider,
Okay.
well, for further consideration.
Okay, Ron?
Mr. Garrity, would you please pass along, if you have it, the statute reference to Rob?
I can get it for you in the morning.
Awesome.
I looked tonight, but it goes back. Negs had got it in the 1980s from Mark Vastine when he first got on the Senate.
Gotcha.
I think Hillsborough Hills has it too. I know Duff doesn't, I know Southern Shore doesn't have one, they don't have a tree ordinance. I think that was about all. Oh, Nanny might have it too. Like I said, Mark Vastine just on the Senate, but young in the 80s, and he wanted to take care of their county.
well, I can tell you 2 trees just got cut down in Manio that weren't saved was the biggest magnolias I've ever seen in my life. So there must not be a tree ordinance in Manio that I'm aware of because the magnolias would not have been removed. They were, I don't know how old they were, but I can't believe they were taken down.
All right, thank you,
So-
Councilman Ron. I agree with her. You have done outstanding here,
Amazing
my
job.
friend. This is wonderful. Good information. You've done a lot of work. Thank you.
And I do appreciate the work you've done. I'm not trying to go against you. I'm a property rights guy.
Okay,
Ask a question pertaining to the trees.
come on up, ma'am.
I haven't seen the ordinance that he's talking about, but what I'm hearing sounds more like new construction. I understand you've got a grooming issue at where you're at, kind of thing. But this sounds more like new construction and not maintaining the oaks that are currently on your property. I don't know what was there on my property when I bought it. I know one was hidden under a pampas and is now a very healthy live oak, and I'm happy for that. But can it not, again, not seeing the ordinance, can it not be put in that it has to do, because there's site plans that have to be approved by the town, am I not, right? Okay, that any new construction,
We're going
and
to
I
ask.
know we have builders here.
Yep, we're
but
going to
new
ask our
construction-
attorney to look at all that, bring it
Okay.
back, so we'll know. We're very good point, very good question.
Thank you.
Thank you. So Casey, can you keep her comments in the?
I
Good,
can.
Good,
I
good.
can.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Public session.
Hmm?
That wasn't public hearing.
No, we're good.
Okay. New business. Got a budget presentation here. Liliana, come on up, please. We're coming up on our budget season here.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
The Finance Department commitment to transparency and fiscal responsibility includes presentations to inform our citizens about financial matters. Today, we are going to explain the budget process. Budget is the most important policy document a government board produces. It guides all the financial decisions the government board will make. Developing a well-thought-out and timely budget is a fundamental responsibility of government boards and a vital function of budget officers in North Carolina. To manage an unpredictable and sometimes difficult economic times, it's essential that all local governments have a careful considered budget in place. They allocate limited resources in a manner that effectively reflects the priorities of the government board. It is wise for governing boards to think a long term when developing an annual budget. Budget priorities that the board make this year will have a long-term impact on the unit. The annual operating budget must be balanced, and recurring revenues should equal to recurring expenditures. The annual budget process itself. Every year, the town implements an operating budget to provide essential services. The fiscal years run from July 1st to June 30 next calendar year. The annual budget ordinance. The annual budget ordinance is a legal document that recognizes revenues, authorizes expenditures, and levies taxes for the local unit for a single fiscal year. The budget ordinance reflects the board policy direction, guides the management decisions, provides the citizens with an understanding in how the town uses public money, and establishes accountability. Let's dig into the budget process itself. The first step is establish a budget calendar. Then the departments submit their budget request to the budget officer. The finance department complies the submit request by the department and analyze the expected income. In other words, project the potential revenues for the next fiscal year. Then we have a meeting with council, what we call a budget work session. In that meeting, we recommend the budget to the council. After we receive the council input and direction, the budget officer makes an adjustment to any budget that we propose. A notice of the public hearing on the proposed budget is published and posted as required by statute. Then the council votes to adopt the budget by approving a budget ordinance. Then we have a new fiscal year start in July 21st. I want to share with all of you the budget calendar that we have approved today in the council and in consent agenda. This budget calendar will be available tomorrow on our website. And also, I want to ask all our citizens and viewers from home, if you have any questions or want to learn more about the budget process, please contact the finance department here in town. Thank you.
Thank you, Liliana.
Thank
Great
you.
job. Any questions for Liliana? And I think most of the council members have, but if you've not taken the chance to meet with her yet, please do so you'll be prepared for the March 25th budget workshop. And I can promise you, Liliana will discuss budget as long as you want to sit there. I promise you.
Thank you.
Great job. Thank you. All right, no old business. Time manager, Melody?
Good evening, everyone. I wanted to provide an update on the police department renovation. We had a meeting this afternoon and things are coming along over there. The curb and gutter pour is approximately 85% complete. The sidewalk pouring is scheduled to begin on Wednesday. Once the concrete pours are finished, they will proceed with rough grading the surrounding parking area and driveways and so forth. There are about 10 to 12 metal roofing panels left to install, and after which the roof will be complete. The porch siding is mostly finished, and the remaining work includes the soffit and the column wraps around the porch. Inside, interior drywall installation is expected to be completed this week. The renovation inspections have been finalized, and tomorrow the town's inspector will review the rough end for the electrical and plumbing and the new build of the project. Drywall finishing and painting will begin next week and is expected to take about 3 weeks. And then they will be out of the ceiling, installing lighting, and then last thing is putting in the floor. So we are moving along. I also want to invite everyone that Keep It Clean Kitty Hawk is coming up. It's everyone's favorite community cleanup event, and it's going to be on Saturday, March 29th, between 10 and 12. And I hope that you will visit our website and sign up to be a volunteer. Also, the town is seeking applicants for boards and committees. Please visit the town's Facebook page or our website for more information and fill out the application form if you're interested in being volunteer part of the team. And lastly, I just want to recognize the Kitty Hawk police officers, Ben Elko, Corey Morse, and Drew Weston, as well as Sergeant Tara Poulin, for taking part in the law enforcement caravan from the Outer Banks to attend the celebration of life for the fallen Virginia Beach police officers, Christopher Reese and Cameron Gervin. It really is a hard thing to put into perspective, and I just want to thank the police for all that they do and representing our community in such a positive manner. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Melanie. Good report. Casey?
Man, I have nothing. Thank you, guys.
Okay. David?
No, I don't have a whole lot. I'd like to thank the fire department for showing up at my house last week. I guess I have a microwave decided it wanted to start on its own. After getting control of the microwave and getting it out of the house, I had them come check the cabinet. So be aware a microwave will start on its own without touching a button. True story. So thank you for that. That's all I have.
Thank you, David.
Well, thank you for Diego showed up as well. So thank you.
I'm interested in hearing a little bit more about the White Street Beach access, what we have.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I got some comments on that too.
But other than that, I have nothing to add, Mr. Mayor.
All right, I've got it. Go ahead. As we all know, this is, Lauren, I don't know how many phone calls and messages you've taken about that same beach access. Hey, you're fixing the others, why can't you fix this one? The town does not own the White Street Beach access. It is private property. If somebody with the family or whoever owns it wants to get together and give it to the town, and maybe we can have a conversation, but that is not a melody.
I will add that I also get calls and concerns about a variety of things, including safety. Casey and I have talked about this before. Willie has brought it up as well. And the owner of the property is a defunct homeowners association.
Correct, from Kitty Dunes.
So I asked Casey this morning, actually, let's try to move forward to see what we can do to perhaps acquire that property or...
Which starts with ownership. I mean, let's determine, who actually owns it and what, which, I mean, I know how it would work to have a defunct corporation or corporate entity. I understand how the statutes work on getting authority, if you will, to convey or in the event of, a condemnation or something. Regardless, we've got to know who owns it. So that's first step. And Melody did email me this morning. We'll get on that and figure that out. And then, I mean, I'm obviously open to any questions you guys might have. But step one, let's figure out who actually, who would be required, who has the authority to actually take action on behalf of the property owner.
So get with me, because I have the old title and deeds to that property, get going back like 60 years.
As long as you didn't do it yourself, man, I certainly would.
No, I didn't, but I can tell you right now, it's been a cloud on that title for decades.
Yeah.
And so
I remember with the beach nourishment easements that was an issue. I mean, we were trying to do title, but we didn't do exhaustive title because,
it's way more than 25 years.
It's absolutely.
Jim, anyway, there's a lot of issues with that lot.
Dylan?
That's all I have.
That it?
Yes, sir.
While I've got it, that would be wonderful news if we could work something out there about White Street.
I believe there's 2 extra front lots beside that as well.
Are there? Okay.
Some lots across the road too.
Okay.
Yeah, beside the actual dune line.
Okay.
Might want to look into that one too.
Okay.
Recently, I can't tell you, y'all may get tired of hearing me brag about our police department, but just recently we had in your neighborhood, Jeff, an Amber Alert that started in Harnett County and ended up on Poor Ridge Road. The great thing about this, the young lady was found and is safe and is returned back home. But our police department, working in conjunction with other agencies, Currituck County, Dare County,
Virginia Beach,
FBI, SBI, Harnett County, work together. It takes a group of professionals, and that's what we have here in our town. And Chief, I just want to thank you for what y'all did. I just happened to have a meeting the next morning, and you had been out all night when I saw you here, I think, but you still look sharp in uniform. Don't get me wrong. But I just want to thank our law enforcement. All of our departments, fire department, went to David's house. Fire department has been in my house a few months ago. We've just got some wonderful departments here in our town, and I think we're all very fortunate and very lucky to have what we have. But Chief, I just want to say thank you. I will make sure I pass it along. Yes, sir, please. Jeff?
Yeah, first I'd like to thank COA. That's a great opportunity for the high school students here to be able to go to school for free. When I was coming along, I chose a trade route, and I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. And I'm glad to see that it's kind of coming back in our colleges to where mechanics and welders and heating and air trades are coming back, and to be able to go to school for free. I mean, I had to pay, but I really thank them. I'd like to also thank the mayor. We got a great staff, fire department, police department. It's been pretty obvious the last few weeks. The fire truck and the ambulance was on my street today. And last week, every policeman in Eastern North Carolina was on my street. Very, very professional. Well done. I'm glad it all worked out. That's all I have.
Thank you, Jeff. Charlotte?
Well, I echo both of what you've said about our police department and all of our departments. I'm very proud. I was very proud to hear that our department had participated in that and that it came to a good conclusion. I also want to give a slight update about our trail that we've been working on. We have volunteers ready to roll. We have the committee is ready to go, and we're waiting on Dominion and Sandpiper K to finalize the easements for us to be able to do that. And so that will be forthcoming. I hope we don't get into the season that we don't want to be working in the woods. So anyway, I'm hoping that'll move along quickly. But that's COA again. Jeff, this is just amazing what they have opportunity to do. I have a granddaughter that did that, and she's finishing her first year at East Carolina, and she'll be coming to teach school. So that will be great. So thank you.
Great. Thank you, Charlotte. Council, anything else?
I would like to say one more thing. Recently, Mayor Garris's brothers passed away, and I would like to, for everybody to think about him this week. He's got a tough week ahead of him, and please keep him in your thoughts and prayers.
Agreed. On that one.
That's it.
Council, I make a motion that we recess to March 25th, 2025, budget workshop, 9 a.m. at the Kitty Hawk Fire Department, 859 West Kitty Hawk Road in Kitty Hawk. I'll need a second, please.
So moved.
So moved.
All right. Motion second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? We all recess. Thank you, everybody.